All right, all right. Hello, hello, hello. All right, so I got my group people and my page people. All right, so I'm going to let people hop on for a minute. Make sure you guys say hello, 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 okay? Make sure you say hello. All right, so as people hop on, we're going to get started because I've got to go to bed. I hop on and say, hurry up, get on here so I can talk, and then I'm going to bed. Okay? Hi, how are you? All right. So as you guys hop on, okay, post a one below if it's your first through third time catching me live. As you guys know, if it's late in the evening, I am so unprofessional, you don't even know. Okay, I am tired, I'm exhausted, and all I want to do is give you good content. So if you want good content, this is the place to be. If you're looking for me in professional attire and my hair did and all of that funky stuff, then this ain't the place for you tonight. Okay? Okay. So make sure you guys say hi. Hey, Nikki, how are you? How are you? Okay, okay. People are hopping on. I'm in a funky mood tonight. I don't know why. I think I'm just like overly tired. It's like a kid, who just got a lot of sugar in them. All right, so hop on, guys. Make sure you say hello and tell me how you are today. So post a 1 below if it's your first through third time catching me live. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. We are going to be announcing winners of Amazon gift cards for going to join the YouTube channel. Okay, my new YouTube channel. It is not fully put together yet. Okay, but basically all the videos have been uploaded. Okay, so thank you, Jennifer, for uploading those for me. I appreciate it. She's waiting on, the outside part of it. I don't remember what it's called. Whatever the outside cover is to you. I don't do that shit. All right. I'll just do the videos and that's it. All right. I don't want, look, I got both my computers here today. This is so cool. All right. But this one's on my lap, so it may wobble. So sorry. That song, Wobble Baby, Wobble Baby. Yep, I'm in a funky mood tonight. Okay, so make sure to share this, okay? And we're going to get started. Did you guys see that video that I posted today about the child in Denton? That was actually a while ago, but I had a case today, an IEP today in that district. And horrible, right? I'd have lost my ever-loving mind, so we were not even going to go there. We're just not. So if you haven't watched the video, it is very disturbing. It is on the page and on the group, but I feel that it's important for us to be aware of these things because if they ever happen to your child, I sure would hope that you don't even want to know what I want to tell you to do. Okay. So I would sure hope that you will make sure that your voice is loud and clear. Okay. If that's the last thing they hear. So here's the deal. You guys, if you haven't, I haven't even started it all professional. See, I told you guys it's late. Normally I go live way before this. All right, so my name is Raven Woods. I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks IEP, and I help parents gain the knowledge and the confidence to become the CEO of their IEP meeting. I do believe, as crazy as I am tonight, okay, I do believe that I'm pretty damn knowledgeable, wouldn't you say, in what I do? So for those of you who are new, talk to the oldies. They know, okay? I'm just tired tonight, but I am here. I have showed up. Is that how you say it? Showed up. Shown up. Showed up. Shown up. Look, I don't even know how do I win IEPs? I can't even talk. I think I talk so much during the day that at night I don't even know what I'm saying. So yes, I had an IEP today, guys. It was one of those where you're kind of in limbo. All right. So it was a shit show in the beginning. And then it kind of turned because I knew I was going to use my stuff that I had on them if I needed to. But if I didn't need to, I wasn't going to use it, you know? So, hey guys, make sure you guys say hi, all right? Say hi. How are you? All right, I'm not seeing a whole lot of people. Okay, so now I see people. All right, so make sure you guys say hi. I don't know if I have it on here or not on the group. So just post a 1 below if it's your first through third time catching me live, and make sure you say hello in the comments. Tell me where you're from. All right, so guys on the page, so I see, hey Aaron, hey Bill, hey Nicole, hey Myrna, Dana, hello, hello. We got Tatiana, and I already said hi to you, Nikki, hey, and Dorothy, hello, hello, and Dory, hello. All right, make sure you guys share this, okay? I know it's late, so who knows who's going to pop on. Hey, Faye, how are you? I know I got to call you back. I am, all right? I promise. So I'm going to tell you guys a story. Is it okay if I read to you? Hi, Kim. How are you? So I got Kim over here and Bill over here. What are you guys watching on different TVs or something? One's on a phone, one's on a computer. How's that working out? Hi, Precious. How are you? Yeah, you're okay, Raisin. We like you. Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it. Hey, Christina. How are you? Hi, Lori. Okay. All right. So continuing this science of reading. All right. And in the continuance of it, I am going to read you a story. No, I did not write this story, but it's important in understanding the science of reading and where we are today, to be quite honest. Okay. Different phones. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just get started. Ask questions. Share this. Okay. And it's important to just hear it out. And these are some of the falsifications that we hear as moms with our kids. Hi, David. How are you? Hi there. Aaron's dad here. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Yes, and post a 1 below if it's your first through third time catching me live, a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. All right. And I'll give you one more shot, okay, because I didn't do it on Friday night, is if you want to go and join my YouTube. It's Autism Mom Rocks IEP. Maybe Aaron will post the link in the group and the page, and we will, and you guys can click it afterwards now, whatever, and go join or subscribe, I guess it is, in YouTube. And I'm going to be streaming from both places. So I'm going to be streaming from Facebook and YouTube. And then I'm also going to be on Instagram, but that one's coming. Okay. So I'm getting there. I kind of just started off on, Facebook, and then all my people were there. So I kind of just got comfortable, and now I'm kind of expanding, if you will. So here we go. Surround him with books. How many times have you heard that? My mother, when I was growing up, she always read me books. I loved reading. I still love reading, but now I kind of turned to Audible. Any other moms out there like that? We love to read, but we don't have time to read, so we listen to our books. Like every time I go to bed, that's what I do. When I get off with you guys, I'm going up to bed and I turn on my Audible. And yes, I listen to trash. No, I listen to good stuff too. I do. Okay. I'm always learning. But I do listen to trash too. Okay. I mean, the romance novels, they can really get into depth, and they keep your brain working too. All right. I'm going to admit that. But sometimes I just need to shut my brain down, is what it really ends up being. I just got to shut it down. I took a 4.5-mile walk today. That was good. I had to clear my head because I had sat all day in an IEP meeting. But what I was saying about the meeting really quick is it was one of those where it didn't end bad, but it didn't end like, wow, But that's how, I just want you guys to know that that's how meetings are sometimes. There's never a guarantee of it being amazing. You always have to go up back to the table at times. And, it's one of those things, especially when you're asking for something that they're going to fight you on. All right. So I was fighting for basically this child to be in the LRE and the direct reading instruction again. All right. So whenever you fight for direct reading instruction, like I tell you guys all the time, is direct reading instruction, one-to-ones. And here's the thing, is I don't just say, hey, I want direct instruction, okay? No, I definitely don't stop there, all right? And then I tell my parents, you have to be willing to go to mediation and fight this, And if you have that in your brain, and then it doesn't happen, hi Cheryl, how are you? Then it's cool, But I would never tell somebody, hey, it's a one and done, okay? It's never like that, because you are gradually persuading and you're gradually presenting in the right way, okay? And persistence is key, okay? It's persistence, persistence, persistence. Sometimes it happens like that, and sometimes it takes a time or two, but you don't give up, all right? And so this was the second time at the table for this one, but not fighting for anything. The first one was obviously always going over the evaluations that I want typically. And no problem, we got the evaluations we wanted. Today was back to the table to review those evaluations. So of course, I'm throwing things out there of what we are wanting, which is structured literacy, the science of reading. We were talking about ESY because we had to get that nailed down. And, I said, do not even waste your time proposing to me a ESY program that is based off of what you do for everybody. All right? I don't care what you do for everybody. Doesn't affect me at all. This is an individualized student, and we're going to create the plan together. That's what we're going to do, all right? And it's not going to be, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever. And they actually said it was going to be 3 weeks. I said, well, that's not happening. I said, I don't know what to tell you, but it's not happening. So I sat there and, all of a sudden, I had posted on a break. I have leverage, and I posted on a break. I said, it's really unfortunate, that we can't seem to come together because the last meeting was so amazing, and this meeting's really kind of going to crap because you all don't want to work with us. So that OCR complaint that we were going to make, because you didn't give the child their speech services, I guess we're just going to have to go through that, and you can have the feds at your door. That's fine with me. And I just left it at that. That was during a break. Took a potty break, all right? And like halfway through, my IEPs are 3 hours. And so this one actually lasted 3.5. And so we come back to the table, and attitudes changed a little bit because I knew they did that. That was the hands down, all right? And so we start working together a little bit better, and ESY is now the whole summer, okay, minus 2 weeks at the end of the summer because the mom and dad wanted to give the child a break. Hi, how are you? Don't forget, post a 1 below if it's your first through third time catching me live. Hey, Marlene, how are you? And so it ended up where we tabled the meeting, all agreeing to do that, okay? And we're coming back to the table to discuss the curveball I gave them. Faye, you know what that curveball was, right? So Faye was the first parent that she's kind of like my first mama to really go for this, because I think it's really in the interest of the child. Now hear me out here, okay, and then I'm going to get started. Hi, April, how are you? Is we decided that we're going to put the child straight up in LRE, all right? Forget SPED. Not take them out of SPED. We're keeping them in SPED. We're putting them in the LRE. No more special education classroom because a lot of children are starting to act out and mirror that behavior that may not be positive. And they're not learning, they're not making progress. So let's put them in the gen ed classroom, straight up. Then give them all the accommodations and modifications that they need, everything, all right? A one-on-one, tons of accommodations, and then of course modifications because most of the kids are not on grade level, right? So that's a perfect scenario to me. I'm like, why did I not think of this before? But I'm so glad we did, because I think it's going to really work. And then we're putting a time frame on it, all right, of like the first 4 months of school. And then we come back to the table and see how it worked. And a lot of data be taken all the time. All right, so post below what your thoughts are of this. I'm super excited about it, because it's one of those things that a lot of people have not tried. And if you haven't tried it, you have to do it. All right, so the school system said, well, this is something you're proposing, right? I said, sure, you can call it me proposing it. Yes, right, Faye? Yes, that's what we got for your daughter. And so, this is what they said to me today. Is this what you're proposing? Because we're a team. Are you proposing this? I said, sure, you can call it proposing, but in all actuality, I'm not really proposing it. You guys don't have a choice. You have to do this. And no joke, guys, I don't know why I've not done this. I've always, just accommodated, and, we always got the child what they needed, of course. But it wasn't, hey, let's just throw them into gen ed. Okay? You guys might think I'm crazy, but I don't think I am. And so, Faye, yeah, post what your thoughts are. That'd be awesome. Like, share with the parents, like, what your thoughts are with this. Right, Lindsay? And so, here's my thought process. Hear me out. It's okay if you don't agree. Okay? And there's some children, I will say, there's some children who do need that. Okay? Do need special education and, like, the more restrictive environment. Okay? But here's my thing, is if your child does not have major behavior problems, shit, let's do it. Right? Let's do it. So we put them all in the gen ed classroom. All right. Think about how many people are going to shit on this one. Okay. We put them all in the gen ed classroom. Not if your child has serious behavior issues, guys. All right. You do have to get a hold of that one. If they're throwing desks, they're throwing things, they're self-inflicting behaviors, like in a major way. That's when you kind of have to think, okay, they may need a more restrictive setting, dependent on what's going on. I mean, they could do self-inflicting behaviors because they don't like where they are and their placement isn't right. Okay, so it's all about the child. So, Kim, I think it's a great idea. As I think I have the same. Yeah. So, and we'll talk about that. So, we throw them in the gen ed setting. All right, it sounds like we're like throwing them in a pool and letting them drown, right? No, that's not what we're doing. All right, so we put them in the gen ed setting, our kids in the gen ed setting that don't have major behavior issues. I don't care how behind they are. All right, so we put them in the gen ed setting, and guess what? All right, this was said to me, I think it was in your meeting, Faye, where there's little princes and princesses, is how this was said in the meeting. Is that right, Faye? Is that how it was said? Princes and princesses love to help. All right. So you have a child that has special needs put into a gen ed setting to feel part of. God, that makes me feel so good to say. All right. And then they have princes and princesses in that room. Okay, the gen ed students, the ones that don't have disabilities, who love to help. Hey, will you help Sarah at her desk and help her with her pencil? Kids love helping other people, and they love feeling like they can be of service, like they get a certain age and they're like, no. But while they're in that young age of elementary school, they love to help. They love to be teachers' helpers. They love to, show other kids what to do, and I'm all about working with one's strengths. So if you have a child that is like a type A personality, like Raven here, then you want somebody that is a child that's going to take charge, So all you got to do is say, hey, Sarah, can you help Kevin with his work? Can you show him what you did? Like, she maybe finished already. Okay. The kids help each other. All right. So that makes your child feel so much part of. And guess what it does? It gives them socialization. Amazing socialization. And I don't care if they can talk. I don't care if they use an AAC device. This is going to give them the socialization they need to feel confident, to maybe if they are not talking, that it will bring it out of them because they're not in a more secluded setting. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but a lot of special ed classrooms are a little bit darker. And there's just an aura about them sometimes that is one that would make you and I a little uncomfortable stepping into. Am I right? And so now we have to look at, is that the same place we want our child, or how we want them to feel? I'm not saying all the time. I'm just saying this is how I've felt in some special education classrooms where I walked into the classroom and I automatically got this like anxiety. All right. So if your child's like that, then I'm thinking this may be what I'm going to push for my son in 5th grade. Yeah, it's amazing. And here's the thing is, you say to the team, I want to do a 4-month trial. I want to see if it works. So you're not saying, hey, this is it, because what if it doesn't work? Then you don't want to do that to your child, right? But give it 4 months. And because the first month, we're coming back from COVID and all that, and even if they are in school, it's going to be a clustered mess, as you guys know, coming back to school next year. So we got to give them, right, that your daughter in this bedroom she just got so much anxiety, it didn't work for her, and then she wasn't making progress, So they are a little bit darker, precious, yes. And the thought process is to calm the children. But I don't know. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure there are some children, but I've really, as many special education children as I've been around, and special needs children, and even with Special Olympics, I have not really been around a child that has to have dark, So I'm sure that's, somewhere out there, but I don't really see the need for, I think I'm always about light and bright and happy, versus dark and gloomy and. So anyway, we put the kids in the special education classroom. We give them all the accommodations they need. So if you've taken my course, the services, accommodations, and modifications, then you know that there are umpteen million different accommodations you can throw into play. No joke. Millions of them. And then we put modifications into play because your child more than likely is not on grade level, and that's okay because there can be modifications put in place. And that's the amazing part, too, of having other children in there, because they're actually really able to help your child because, my computer's going to die. I'm going to have to flip. Is they're going to be able to help your child because they, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, because your child's work is modified. So if they had trouble with their work, they're definitely going to know how to do your child's work, because it's going to be a bit modified and easier for them, right? So that's going to be a really cool thing. I think it's so awesome for kids to help each other, and it's a way to socialize. All right. And then the number one accommodation, all right, a one-on-one. All right. So the one-on-one is going to be imperative, and I'll tell you why. Okay, all you mamas on here saying, and I see your questions, I promise I'm going to answer them. But, and if you guys are over here, you can ask questions too, okay? My group's a little quieter today. Normally it's the other way around. All right, so if you peepballs are not on the group, go to search Autism Mama Rocks IEP group and join the group, okay? And pass the group and page around. Maybe it'll help somebody else, just like possibly it's helping you, okay? So here's the deal. You get a one-on-one, all right? Because the law states, okay, I'm not an attorney, but I know how to read, all right? So the law states an idea that we are to provide, and this isn't word for word, okay, we are to put our children, and our children are supposed to be in the LRE, all right, as best and to the maximum extent possible, okay, is what it says. And then you give them as many accommodations, modifications as they need to be able to be in the least restrictive environment. All right? So if your child can function in the least restrictive environment with all the modifications and accommodations that they can possibly need, and of course they'll get services, then that's where they're going, if that's what you want. I'm kind of really running with this right now, okay? And then the school system, will push back because, they're got to give you a one-on-one, all right? And here's the thing. So every child with special needs, needs a break every once in a while. So what you do is with this scenario is your child then gets what's called resource room. All right. So if your child needs to desensitize, if your child needs to just take a break, if your child needs to walk to the classroom, if your child needs to just go and sit on a beanbag, whatever it is, your child in their accommodations will be that they can go to the resource room if they're just overwhelmed and too much is happening in the gen ed setting. So that is the out to the school's argument of, well, they're not going to be able to handle it all day. They're only there for 45 minutes each day, so that's not going to work. Well, that's what the resource room comes in for. You don't need to send them to special ed. You can send them to a resource room where that's where they even can have direct instruction. Here's the next batch, guys. So then on top of a one-on-one, they're in gen ed, they are getting a resource room as an accommodation. On top of that, they got that one-on-one who's going to be able to transfer them and transport them and transition them from different places, all right? PE, art, music, lunch, gen ed, blah, 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 right? If they need to be taken out of the class, they go to the resource room, de-escalate, come back to the classroom. Okay, so that's the out of giving them that break because the school system will bring that up. And then the awesome part is you get a one-on-one, all right? And that can be just in the classroom and to take them to the resource room, or that could be all day, or it could be however you want to make it, all right? Whatever it is your child needs, all right? I need to transfer my charger. All right, let's see if this will pull over. Okay, I gotta pull you guys over a little bit, okay, guys? Oh, just dropped something. That's okay. Okay. All right, now you guys are good. Okay. So the cool thing too, all right, with this is you're doing a 4-month trial, all right, and your child is not in the gen ed setting the whole time. Here's the kicker. All right. So because the law says that your child has to be in the LRE, all right, the school can't really argue this. All right. And I'm telling you, they can't. If this is something your school system has never tried, they cannot say no. They'll try, but then you say, you're not allowed to say no to this. This is what the law states. And fortunately, I'm now asking for it. And I'm asking for a one-on-one, this, so that my child's accommodated in the least restrictive environment. All right? So this is exactly what I'm pushing for my son. So far, we have to have it down good, but we have 8 days left of school. If they are in gen ed classroom, does the speech note go into it? I think they shouldn't. No, Kristen. So here's the deal. So I'm a big advocate, as you guys know, for math and reading and direct instruction. All right. So then I say, well, one more thing. I want direct instruction in math and reading because the child's behind. And 99.9% of the time, they are. So then, of course, they're shitting in their pants. And then I say, okay, hold up. One more thing. All right. And that one more thing is who? So math, I'm not picky. All right. Because a special ed teacher can do math. That's fine. All right. Unless the child's not making progress with direct instruction with a sped teacher, then we change it up. Reading, not so much. I want to make sure that direct instruction is by a certified Orton Gillingham instructor, someone who is proficient in the science of read or proficient in the science of reading, proficient in structured literacy, that is knowledgeable in different methodologies that are aligned with the science of reading and not the shit methodologies that do not follow the science of reading. So you have to know. All right. And maybe we'll do a live on this. And I'm very strict about who's delivering that reading, especially if the student is extremely behind. All right? So I'm flexible a little bit, but not much. Especially the fact that many children are so far behind that we don't have time for any more screw ups. And I'll say that. You guys have screwed up enough. You don't get no more chances. And then I'll say something like, if this went to due process, I try to look at things like this. If something goes to due process, all right, let's just play devil's advocate. Then would a judge rule in favor of a school district, all right, for not aligning their reading methodology with the science of reading, with the extensive, voluminous amount of research, along with the fact that we are in a reading recession? What the hell? Yep, that's what they're calling it right now. And that only 30% of children in the United States can read. All right? You really don't need that many experts to come in to talk about that. All right? Because there's so much on it. You would literally need like one expert. All right? They cannot just say that anybody is highly qualified and knowledgeable. Okay? Because you got a child with different needs. There's different children with different needs. You have direct instruction, all right? Direct one-to-one instruction. Make sure you always say that. Direct one-to-one instruction. Because if you just say direct instruction, it could be a small group. All right? And then you want to make sure that that person, that's another reason we tabled the meeting today, is that the principal said, well, I need time. And I said, okay, well, what do you need time for? And she said, well, I need time because I need to find this person. Okay. How much time you need? You know? Sure, I'll give you time. How much time? We only got a little bit of time before school ends, but okay, how much time you need? You find that person. And I told her, I said, you know, I'm not bending on this. All right, this child's behind. All right, and I'm not bending on it. All right. We agreed the whole summer. We went from 3 weeks of what they offered to, I mean, I laughed. Probably unprofessional, but I laughed. I couldn't help it. It like just came out. I mean, when they said 3 weeks, it was like June 8th through 20 something. All right. I mean, that's how it came out. I was like, are y'all serious? You know, because sometimes if they tell me something stupid, I mean, okay, I can talk to you that way as well. You know, let's not play stupid. Because as stupid as the districts will act, they're not stupid, you know? So they will play stupid, but they are not stupid. Just my opinion. My daughter's special ed teacher started bullying her after she got upset with my husband in an IEP meeting, all because he requested a copy of the IEP implementation signature page. That sucks. Not cool. I mean, do you have proof of it? This is perfect. My daughter is starting kindergarten. She is in gen ed and direct instruction and special ed. I think she might do better with her class breaks, yeah. Okay, so just a thought, you know, little dash of sugar on you guys tonight, all right? So let me read this to you. Let's get going because I'm exhausted, all right? So here we go. Surround him with books. Paul Morgan, all right, is a professor at Penn State University who studies the risk factors for learning difficulties. He had a case study in his own home about a decade ago. This is good, guys, so you want to listen to this. All right. His younger son was in first grade and reading was really hard for him. Morgan's other son had been fine. All right. And this is a quote, our oldest is a voracious reader and took to it readily. He seemed to benefit from what our local school did. All right. Oh, that was just a thing. Okay. So, but their other son can't read well, and in early grades, it really starts to have negative consequences on your social, emotional development and your behavior. All right. When Morgan and his wife brought up their younger son's struggles with the school, they were told, read storybooks to him, surround him with books. But they'd been reading to him since he was a baby. They had tons of books in their home. Morgan knew from his own research that his son needed something he wasn't getting enough of in school. So, he needed to be taught how to read words. So Morgan and his wife started doing that. We are in a position to reorganize our work schedules, he said. They bought a book online, and every morning one of them would work with him before school. And then he was okay. Things made sense to him. He was decoding and started reading quickly and fluently. They caught the problem and were able to fix it. That's not going to be the case with every child. Some kids will need lots of help, but intervening early is critical because when kids don't get off to a good start with word recognition, it can begin to affect their motivation and their mental health. Okay? If you can't read well in early grades, your peers notice. Your teachers notice. You notice, Morgan said. And it really starts to have a negative consequence on your social emotional development and will instigate behavior. Children who are still struggling with reading at the end of first grade rarely catch up because the kids who get off to a good start reading words are catapulting ahead. It is the rich get richer phenomenon. Everyone else quickly gets left behind. Yet, a 2019 Education Week survey found that more than half of teachers and 56% of post-secondary instructors, look, I can't read y'all, who teach courses on reading said kids don't need a good grasp on phonics to read. That doesn't necessarily mean they reject phonics instruction. The majority of teachers describe their approach to teaching reading as balanced literacy. Remember that word. And that typically includes some phonics. Anybody's child getting balanced literacy? What the hell is balanced literacy? Is there a book called Balanced Literacy? Does that mean that we have to like stack books and they have to balance on one another? What does that mean? Balanced literacy. I know what they want it to mean. But if you really think about it, it could sound funny. But what the hell is balanced literacy? There's no such thing. All right? They call it that. It is a verbiage thing, kind of like all the educational verbiage that, is in the educational arena. All right? So, we're going to continue. All right? So, that's in 2019. They called it balanced literacy, and that typically includes some phonics. But it also includes the idea that readers don't need to understand how the word sounds in words, and how the word sounds is what it's saying, in words, and how they're represented by letters. All right? Phonemic awareness. Phonemes. You have 44 phonemes. All right? Ask your teachers, ask in an IEP meeting, how many phonemes does my child know? You need to know there are 44. Okay? How many does your child know? Okay? So let's keep it moving. So the majority of teachers describe their approach to teaching as the balanced literacy, but it includes the idea of readers and that they don't need to understand how the sounds in words are represented by letters. All right? It's the idea from the 1970s that if kids are focused on the meaning of what they're reading, they can figure out what the words say. All right? Yeah. All right? This idea has been repeatedly debunked by cognitive scientists. But it lingers in education because the idea that children need to be taught how to read words has long been resisted by many educators and literacy experts, even as some people who previously dismissed the importance of phonics instruction now embrace it. An assumption that continues to ungrid reading instruction is that reading skill develops naturally as long as kids are in an environment that supports and encourages lots of reading. No, that is not true. It's like riding a bike, all right? You can't get on a bike and just know how to read or know how to ride. It doesn't work like that. Okay, you have to get on the bike, you have to pedal, you have to have mom and dad hold the back of the seat so you don't fall over, and you got to figure out how to balance, and you got to go, and then you got to learn how to steer. All of that stuff goes into play. All right, you don't just get on a bike and know how to ride. It doesn't work like that. All right, same thing with reading. I don't care how many times you read to your kids as children, as babies. You don't just learn to read because mom and dad read to you. All right? You don't. So a lot of people and a lot of reading instruction is built off the fact that, oh, if I give it to you and I give you books that is at your grade level, then you're going to read the book and you're just going to know what it means. So when this approach doesn't work for a child, there are typically two responses. One, there must be a problem at home. The child wasn't read to enough. Shame on you, mom and dad. Or number two, there must be a problem in the child. He or she has a disability. Your child can't read because your child has a disability. Okay, I had that said today. Well, that just makes sense as they're going over the evaluation. Oh, well, that makes sense, because of the autism. Oh, that makes sense because of the autism. What the hell does autism have to do with reading? Not a damn thing. Do you know how many children with autism that are proficient readers that are in kindergarten, first, second grade that can read high school level books? Mine can't. A lot of our children can't. But there's tons of them who can. So to say something like that is insane. So, but usually 1 and 2, all right, you haven't read to a mom and dad, or your child's disability. They can't read because your child's disability. All right. Usually it's neither. You and I know that, right? We knew that. Most of the time when kids can't read, it's because they were not taught how to do it. That's it. There is your answer. The end all be all. The reason your child can't read is because they were not taught how to do it in school. Okay? Period. That is your answer. All right? So if you ever want to argue with the school, bring up those two things first. Say, number one, I read to my kid as a baby, but I also know that that's not what makes them read. Number two, my child has autism. But guess what? My child's autism has nothing to do with them being able to read. Cross that shit off the list before they even bring it up. I do that stuff all the time. Don't let them bring that stuff up and throw all that stuff at you. It drives me insane. It really does. And actually, it makes me really mad, to be quite honest. Too busy on grants to do their job. Yeah, it's more budget and money, and I mean that Do you know how much the schools got these past years? Look it up. Look up. It's not, I guess it's like a public thing where you can look up what your school got. They got extra money this year for COVID and whatever. I didn't pay attention to what it was for, but I just know schools got more money. And what floors me is they're still using 2 years, 3 years old evaluations. All right, we're on the Y at 4 now, y'all. We do not need to be given the Y at 2. All right, so get on to your schools to buy the most recent and up-to-date assessments. Get on your schools as to doing the right thing. Do behaviors have anything to do with what? Reading, Debbie? Make sure you guys say hi. What's a new tip? What's that? Oh, I don't have anything to share. Okay. All right. Okay. Sorry, I'm just messing with this. New. All right. Sure, behaviors can inhibit reading, Debbie. But I'm a big advocate on the fact that school districts are not providing, or at least the umpteen million I've seen, schools are not providing the right BIPs. So the behavior intervention plan is screwed from the get-go because the FBA was more than likely not done by a BCBA, and then the BIP was not created in the right way. I mean, I've even seen BCBAs not know how to do a BIP. I mean, I've seen it. Why? I don't know. I cannot tell you why. I don't know. What I can tell you is that some of them don't know how to do it. Why is this beeping? Okay. All right. So, yes, the answer is yes. Behavior can impede all aspects of learning. But I fully believe that if the right BIP is put in place, that child is fully set up for success. And I'll just use my own child for an example, okay? Skylar had so many behavior problems. And she was my funny child at the time because she would pick up a new behavior every couple months, and it was only 1, maybe 2 behaviors, but they would drive you batshit crazy. All right. And so it was constant changing, Debbie. That, hi Shanine, how are you? Hi Cheryl, how are you? It was constantly changing that BIP. So a good behaviorist who writes a good BIP teaches the team how to take daily data. That is something you have to enforce and put into your IEPs. If you have a BIP created by a BCBA that they contracted with, then that behaviorist needs to not go anywhere. They need to continue contracting. I mean, granted, they can have someone new come in, whatever. But if they do, then a new FBA needs to be done if they have a new staff member come in so that they can then reassess. Okay? When you have a good BIP, you have daily data. And every 2 weeks, you create a graph of that data. All right? To see what's heightened and what's not. And then as you go, every progress report time, you should have at least 4 or 5 graphs. So you'll be able to see at progress time how that behavior worked and how that plan worked in order to know if you need to change it. Let me see. Okay. if you need to change it or whatever needs to happen. But BIPs have to be changed all the time. They have to have the right antecedent. You have to nail that. They have to have the right, obviously the right behavior that is following the antecedent, and then a consequence. But the number one thing is what? Teaching that child alternative positive behaviors to replace that negative behavior. All right? So hopefully that helps your question. All right, so let's move on. All right, so to be a good reader without good recognition skills is not going to happen. All right? Reading scientists referred to a word, and we're almost done, guys, okay? So reading scientists refer to word recognition as, all right, I gotta open this. Okay. As a sine qua non. It's SINEQUANON, separate words, of being a good reader. But good word recognition skills are only half the equation. Research shows that once kids have mastered the basics of decoding, their ability to understand what they read is largely determined by the level of their language comprehension. So remember I said it's word recognition and decoding equals language knowledge equals reading comprehension. So it's really word recognition and decoding multiplied by language knowledge equals reading comprehension is the formula. All right. There's a lot to language comprehension. It's all the words you know the meaning of. All right. And your understanding of how language works, grammar, syntax, etc. It also includes the things you know. For example, if you don't know what sine qua non means, you may not have fully understood the paragraph above. Sine qua non is a Latin phrase that means an essential condition, something that is absolutely necessary. Okay? You'd not believe what said to me. Okay, so let's move on. We only have 2 more paragraphs left. Then I'm going to bed. Okay, so let's move on. All right, your ability, or actually, let's start with this one. I was going to just skip it, but I will go ahead and read it. Knowledge is critical when it comes to understanding what you read. Consider this passage. Australia failed to fully capitalize the second wicket stand of 182 between Smith and Finch, as Michael Clarke's men were stunned by the off breaks of Ravichandran, Ashwin, and a curious collective failure against back of a length bowling. What? You may be able to read all the words just fine. Okay, this is what it's saying in reference to what the hell ever I just read. Just fine, but have absolutely no idea what this passage was about. I don't. I have no idea what I just read. Unless you know something about cricket. I have no freaking clue what cricket is. What is that? Is that a game? I think it's a game, right? Cricket? I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it. All right, so this passage is from BBC Report on Australia's victory in the 2015 Cricket World Cup semi-final. What the hell? See, I had no idea what the hell that read. Australia failed to fully capitalize on the second wicket stand of 182 between Smith and Finch. Okay. What does that mean? You know? All right. So your ability to comprehend what you read is linked to your knowledge. My knowledge to cricket was 0. Okay? So go figure, right? All right. So your ability to comprehend is very essential. And if you don't have knowledge, you're not going to comprehend. All right? So this is one reason there's an association between a child's reading comprehension and their family's income. This is crazy. More income often means more opportunity for experiences that build knowledge of the world. All right, so there is a huge issue today with it's where a child has come from, and that's where it's become unfortunate, and those are the children we need to serve even more. All right, and no child be put into that predicament. I don't personally believe that schools should be like that, like just because the area isn't as prominent as a different area, I don't believe that the educational system should be any different. Because if the educators are just as educated to be able to teach in those schools that may not be as prominent as another school, that child has every right to receive the same type of education. If not, they need to be bused to that other school. That's just my opinion. I mean, I'm like kind of over hearing about, this child, that child, all of that kind of screwed up stuff going on in today's world. And I don't want to hear about it anymore. I am over it. And I think that, there has to be that equality of your child is no better than my child kind of thing. We're equal people. And, that has to be given across every single board. And no child, because of where they come from, should ever be treated differently than if a child came from or lives in a mansion. So, but what this is saying is that does realistically affect children today. Okay? So that's where that is going. All right. The challenge with reading comprehension tests is that at the end of the day, they are tests of knowledge. And in the United States, we don't have a canon of knowledge. We've decided every child needs to master. All right. We have common standards, which are essentially lists of things students should be able to do, such as determine the main idea, describe a story. When we used to have to write book reports and stuff. I remember that stuff. I used to love that. You had to do what was it called? The plot and the main idea and all that fun stuff, right? We don't have agreed upon curriculum. It's up to states and schools, sometimes individual teachers, to decide what they're teaching. They choose the books, the material, the content. And that is and can be detrimental. All right, so we're going to leave it there, and I'm going to pick this up. This gets better. All right, really good, actually. And so we will continue tomorrow. All right, and we will talk about more of the issues with reading. It's very interesting. The not everyone is a scholastic sponge. Yeah. It's very interesting how big this is today. It's fascinating to me, but at the same time, it is very unfortunate. Literacy it says here, and this is something we're going to get to, but I'll go ahead and read it to you really quick, and then I'm going to jump off, unless you guys have some big questions. When a person reaches age 15 without knowing how to sound out the word bleak, all right, is that a learning disability, or was the child never taught how to read? Do you remember that girl, probably early evening, Precious. I'll make sure to post it so you guys know in advance like I did today, okay? So I will start trying to post in advance, all right? So hopefully that helped you. But kids that don't learn how to read, and we're just taking just kids in general, you know, more children that, you know, have issues reading, they end up, you know, it goes into, this is a huge report, and it says like the University of Houston researchers are betting that a lot of struggling readers get locked up in juvenile detention systems. Students in study each receive 24 lessons, 90 minutes each. The researchers are collecting data over time in regards to this and in regards to reading. So not just a child with special needs is this affecting. This is affecting all children today. All right. So even though we're advocating for our children with special needs, do not think that your child or my child with special needs are the only ones struggling with reading, because that's in fact not true at all. Typical children are struggling with reading every single day, and it's very unfortunate. And unless we fight for them to get structured literacy and specifically a methodology aligned with the science of reading, the system is going to continue to fail. And, you know, I feel the more we can advocate and the more we can teach educators that they need to themselves fight the districts for that extra training in the science of reading, for the districts to provide them with the right methodologies. They can't just go buy it and use it, you know? So we have got to really emphasize what is going on. You know, I don't know if you guys go to your board meetings. Go to those damn board meetings and go talk. Go speak. Don't be afraid. Go talk. Be that person, all right? That you're always up there, always advocating, all right? Don't be afraid to go to your paper, all right? Don't be afraid to go to your paper. Don't be afraid to tell your story, all right? Because your story may align and with someone else, and they may be able to relate, and that is a big thing for us moms to do, to be able to relate that, I'm not alone, you know? Our kids may not be the same, but knowing that we're not alone is important, okay? So go to bed, guys. Well, those of you in, you know, California, it's like what, 7 there, 7:50, something like that. So y'all go eat dinner or whatever y'all do at this time of night. Us East Coasters, it's like almost 11 o'clock. Okay. So I'm going to read you more stories. Sounds so funny. Tomorrow. And, we're going to continue this because this is awesome. I think it's, you know, it's taught me a lot, you know, and that's with having experience. I'm still learning. I actually love reading it. And, I'm always diving into learning more and understanding, you know, okay, well, what could I ask for? You know, what more could I ask for to make sure and ensure this happens? You know, so so if you are catching this now late, go back and listen. We talked about some amazing stuff, right? That Gen Ed classroom. All right. So post your questions below. I will answer them. I think that's a great idea. I can't wait to see the results of it next year. Also, remember, it is not too late to go back to the table. Okay? Yes, sure. Worst case, you're on it right in August. All right? Like a crazy woman. All right? But you can go back to the table now, which is going to help you come August. All right. So I will talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful evening. I will be live tomorrow much earlier, and we will read a little bit more, and we'll go from there. All right, tomorrow I get to write a request for mediation, which is always fun. I don't mind. And then Wednesday I am in mediation, so it's a crazy week. So Wednesday's mediation. Tomorrow I'm requesting a mediation for a different client. But both will be getting what they want, one way or another. You're welcome, David. So always advocate. Okay. I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll get you guys